Not every wealth strategy works for every person. Your personality has a money blueprint, and once you see it, everything clicks. MoneyCareer.app combines ancient Chinese astrology and psychometric profiling to show you where your natural strengths are and where you have been working against yourself. The quiz is free, and if you want the full deep dive report, it's less than $5. Go to moneycareer.app and take yours now. That's moneycareer.app. Welcome to Fiery Femmes, the podcast where high-achieving women build wealth, redesign their careers, and create lives with real freedom. I'm Sheena, an accredited investor, former tech sales professional, and the founder of Fiery Femmes. After a decade across global SaaS, startups, and my own reinventions, I realized the most powerful thing a woman can have is optionality. So, in every episode, we explore the future of work, the psychology of wealth, and the practical strategies that help women build careers and lives that evolve as fast as they do. Basically, I wanted to know, obviously, it's like a combination of go-to-market tools. What tools would you liken it to?
It's going to sound cliche, but there isn't a tool that's exactly like us. So we have parts that's like a Polo, parts that like an AI SDR. We've also parts that are like Taplio, which is building your brand. How we think of it is the modern go-to-market salesperson will be completely different in 2026. We're seeing now even trends in how you're doing sales in 2026 is completely different to how you do it in 2025. So even that motion itself is very different. And so how we think about it is how do we then build a tool stack around the modern day salesperson? And so in the past, you would just need to build pipeline or do your outreach. But now as a salesperson, you need to do so much more. You need to be able to have people trust you online. Are you showing up? Are you commenting on your prospects' feed? Are you finding the right people to reach out to? Are they warm? And then off the back of that, are you writing the right message? And so there's so many more components now to be able to reach out to your customer. One of the things that we've heard now is you need now 14 touch points before a customer will even take a meeting with you, because now there's so much noise online, so much AI generated content. They can also look at your website as well. And so being able to reach out to a customer, getting time with them is so much more harder. And so how we've built Fuzzy is we've actually encapsulated all these other features as well. It's how do you then comment on their posts? How are you appearing on their newsfeed? Are you relevant? And then off the back of that, are you sending messages that are relevant to them? So now we're seeing sales completely transform in just 1 year. And so when we think about building Fuzzy, it's not what the old tool stack looks like. It's what is needed today as a modern day salesperson.
I can't believe that that is how much touch point is needed now. But also I
Yeah,
can,
it's crazy.
because you can feel it and you can see it yourself as well. I mean, as the CEO and founder, you probably get quite literally hundreds of outreach messages
Mm.
a day.
Hmm.
I'm excited to try it and give it a go. And with this, what we want to talk about today is obviously to how do you make sure financially that you're okay to go ahead and live the founder life? Because it is difficult, it's tough. How you made sure that you're okay. And second is the financial grounding that you've had from your parents and how it has been challenged potentially and what you thought about it. And last but not the least is what would be, I guess, like your advice to younger founders in this day and age?
Yeah. Um, I would, I'm actually very atypical to what typical advice is. Typical advice is just go in, don't have a safety net. I'm on the other side where I actually believe you should have a safety net first, save up a bit of money so that you have runway. And so that way you actually have a safety net to land on. So before I even started the founder journey, I had savings of my own before I got into this and then built Fuzzy. So I would actually say understand what your runway is, how much time you're willing to have without having money, and then going from there. So I really do believe in having some form of base.
What did your parents teach you about, like, financial independence growing up? And was there anything that you kind of against that, or something that you don't think is right?
I think my parents gave me a pretty good grounding, to be honest. I think so. Immigrant family, immigrant daughter, we're second generation Australians. Uh, my parents are immigrants from Vietnam and, they came to Australia like with pretty much nothing. And so being able to start from scratch, and now I'd say both my parents are quite successful, is I think, a lot of it is saving money and being able to either reinvest it or putting it into things that grow over time, whether it be property or shares, and being able to dollar cost average into things. And so because I've had savings, I've been able to lean on that. And a lot of my investments have been able to fund some of the work that I do now as well. In terms of financial grounding, um, I think it's a typical things like, don't spend on the wrong thing, spend under your means. One of the things that I have always lived by is, even though I made, in my last job, I made quite a bit of money, live like a student because you don't need to spend it all. I mean, obviously, you go for the fine dining here and there, but then you can take that money, reinvest it, and you can double it, triple it, or even more. So, I'm actually of the notion of, always if you don't need to spend a lot. I mean, if unless it makes you a lot happier, but for me, if I spend like a student versus spending like a super rich person, I get the same amount of satisfaction as long as I just do like little things that make me happy. So I would, if you can, reinvest early and have some form of financial stability early on, if possible.
When you thought about like becoming a founder, was it something active that you knew you were going to be a founder, hence you need to build up this big financial cushion?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be a founder. So I'm not sure if a financial cushion is the right word. Like I mean, I had like 2 years worth of runway, which is something that I did think about, but was that the reason why I saved? I don't know if that was a complete reason why I saved because I could have chosen either to reinvest the money or put it into the founder journey, and I decided to put in the founder journey instead.
And with the runway, I'd love to know, and for you to share it with the audience as well, who have the same aspirations to become a founder. Tell us about how you've calculated your runway and if you had to make some changes in your lifestyle as well.
Um, so think about what your minimum spend is every month and then times it by how long you think you need. So for me, it was my minimum spend times 18 months. Um, So it was pretty simple. But I think it was the key is minimum spend, not current spend. So I definitely in the past, would go out to fine dining a bit more. I'd go on the holiday a bit more. So cutting back on those sort of things. And that helped me extend my runway a bit more. And then that's it really. So figuring out and working backwards from there. So what do you need to live on every day? And obviously you don't want to make it miserable as well. Like if you go too thin on finances, you end up having a really bad time and then you end up hating the founder journey. So like pay yourself an amount that you'd be happy with. Um, and then, yeah, and then also give yourself a deadline. Like, are you hitting the milestones over each month? If you're not, then, is this still the right journey for you? If not, should you go back to working? And being really honest with yourself is this is the right path that you should pursue. And are you actually hitting those milestones? And if you're not, then, should you be considering a job? One of the things that I don't know if this is helpful, but one of the things my a mentor said to me was, people spend 7 years to go to law school to become a lawyer, but people don't necessarily spend 7 years to figure out how to be a startup founder. And he said there's no startup founder he's met that spent 7 years that hasn't made it to a million. And so if you take that in perspective, do you want to spend the 7 years? Are you okay to wait 7 years, just like if you were to become a lawyer? Or would you rather just have that safety net continuously? And so I think it comes down to each person's risk tolerance and if they're willing to wait or forego that amount of time, and if there are certain milestones they're willing to hit, not hit, when they are a founder. And these are very personal questions as well because everyone's circumstance is so different.
Absolutely. And it depends on someone's risk tolerance as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people would want to go on the founder journey, but absolutely different people have different risk tolerances. And it's amazing to hear that for those people who are thinking about becoming a founder. or getting a law degree, medical degree, for 7, 10 years, and how long you're willing to persevere and eventually get that pot of gold in that journey.
Yeah, and I think that really put things in perspective. Like, people are willing to go to med school and law school, but people aren't willing to put in the same amount of time as a founder. And it's like the reward is the same, but then you don't put in the time. And a lot of people they see the whole, overnight success, and they think it takes 1 year or it takes a few months. And it's not like that. Like, founder is a hard journey. You learn things, you figure out things, and you push from there. So yeah, I think that's like really good perspective to think about when you are a founder. It's not meant to be an overnight success. It's like a block by block journey.
And you also get a lot of rejections as well. I think
All
getting
the time.
rejected is
Yeah.
something normal people just don't expect or don't enjoy getting. But I personally have a rejections folder in my
Wow.
inbox, just to be like, okay, these are all the rejections that you have. And maybe in the next month or whatever we can think of to like reach out to them again and try again.
Yeah, nice. I love that. I love that. You got to try many times until you fail. One of my friends just signed a $25 million deal, and he had like 20 follow-ups with no replies. So it's like it works for
What?
sure. Good on him. Yeah.
I love that. That is good inspiration.
Yeah, I love it. It's like, you got to hustle. And it's like none of them replied. You could see it's like boom, 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 boom. No one replied. And then later they replied. It's a $25 million deal.
What? I'm so excited about to hear this on what this deal is about when it's out in the media and whatnot.
Yeah.
Can you send it to me when it's like in public?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, perfect. And can you tell us about the journey that you went on with Fuzzy? I know that you went on an accelerator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So a lot of people have not heard of an accelerator program. Can
Mm.
you tell us about your journey and how you got into the accelerator program that you had?
Yeah. So, accelerator programs essentially you're part of a program and you're mentored by a group of people that is essentially meant to take you to the next level and help you fundraise. I was part of one called Iterative. They were and they also give you money. Sorry, I forgot about that as well. So, just like YC, they give you money.
How did you find out about Iterative?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a big believer in learning from very smart people. And so when I started the founder journey, I just started going to events and listening. And I think a big part of me is I just wanted to be around very intelligent founders. And so Iterative, funnily enough, it's actually one of Southeast Asia's best accelerators. And I didn't know that at the time. I think Singapore's best. All the founders are XYC. And so I went to a talk and I remember hearing one of the MDs speak, and I think it was just very smart. And so I knew that I wanted to be around him because I just wanted to learn from him. And that's the reason why I applied. And then later I found out it was like a 0.8% acceptance rate and all that kind of stuff and very competitive. So, but I didn't know that. I think I just went in blind. I was like, this guy seems smart. I want to learn from him. Put in an application that day, got an interview, and then got in. So I didn't know it was competitive because I didn't feel like it was. I just applied based off me really liking and hearing from them. And then also, as I was going through the interview process, a lot of them were all ex founders and they're a program run by ex founders. So, granted, something to think about for accelerators, not all accelerators are equal. They don't also, I think, when founders think about this, they need to think about the equity. How much equity are they willing to give up? Are they actually going to get the support they needed? Think about the time investment. Some accelerators are not good and you would spend time there and that's wasted time as well, and time is money. So I would consider that if you are spending time with these people, are they giving you the right advice as well? And so I think the really cool thing about Iterative, which I really appreciated, was they're all done by ex-founders, and everyone who's mentoring you has either started their own company, sold their company, and so they've come from past experience. And a lot of the time when they give you advice, it's very founder advice because it's relevant. And I think, you have the same problem. You go to like someone who's currently in corporate, the advice would be completely different. And so I would encourage, when founders are going, not just from an accelerator program, but when you get any advice in general, is have they worked in your specific field? Have they done what you've done before? Have they had to solve the problems that you've solved. And if they haven't, then I wouldn't take their advice. And even if they have, I would also take it. You think about if the advice is correct for you, because not all advice is equal.
That's a great, great reminder because you are right. And your non-founder friends would always have you would think the best in your best interest at heart, but you really have to decipher where are they coming from? Have they done this before? How much exposure have they had with a
Yeah,
founder life?
definitely. Definitely. Like they definitely have the best intentions. Right? When people give you advice, it's because they care about you. But sometimes, let's use corporates as an example. Like they have all the resources in the world and they have an unlimited budget. And so the advice they give is like, oh, just spend money on marketing, which isn't really the best ROI if you're a founder because it's not targeted. Generally, and marketing budget works if you have messaging that has worked and you want to amplify it. But then as a corporate, you already have that. And so not having that context, you would give that advice, but it doesn't actually work for a founder who doesn't have a early stage founder, sorry, in terms of like a consistent messaging to send to their customers. So even something as small as that, it could be completely different in terms of the advice you'd give and receive as well.
Absolutely. So yesterday, just to share with the audience, yesterday I was working at a cafe, and Sunday is typically when people catch up for brunch with their friends.
Mm,
So I was like in
mm,
this cafe just doing my thing, and
mm.
I was overhearing people on the next table, and they were talking about the strategic vision and the decision makers can't make decisions, and but who is doing what? And all I thought was, wow, they have so many. It sounds like they have so many resources.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's very relevant in their part of the world, but not relevant for a founder because a founder, you just need to go quick and don't die, they say, right? Go quick and don't die.
Yeah, and you got to test, and have a look at the data, and implement if needed. Implement
Yes.
changes if
Yep.
needed.
Yep.
And I would love to know, with the journey that you've had, have you made any differences or changes in your lifestyle? And I also know that you moved to Singapore. You're in Singapore now from Australia. Is that
Mm.
because of the founder journey, or you just happened to be in Singapore when you started?
A little bit of both. I did happen to be in Singapore, but I do think Singapore is incredibly supportive of the AI scene. They bring in a lot of people to help, and there's a lot of government support, and they're pushing it forward. I mean, now as an Australian coming to Singapore, I think previously, as when you're in Australia, I think the government is not as supportive, I'd say, compared to Singapore. And
Mm.
Singapore is like they have programs on. They bring in really great speakers for founders to listen to. I met the Grok founder. You just don't get those experiences in Australia, and they openly push it. And so I think that the support that you get is very different from a founder point of view. And the ecosystem's a lot tighter here. I'm not sure if it's because of density. It could just be purely density, but there's a lot happening here, and there's like literally an event on every single day, and you have to really decipher which is a good event, which is a bad event, etc. And so, it's quite full on in terms of like the ecosystem here. Granted, they're amazing builders in Australia as well, but it's just a lot more denser in Singapore compared to Melbourne and potentially Sydney as well.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I think the Australian startup ecosystem just lives because the Australian ecosystem lives by itself, but the support
Mm,
from the government is absolutely lacking. I
mm,
can see that. Have you heard of fish burners?
mm, mm, mm.
I don't know if you saw, but they're going through administration.
Wow, no, I didn't know that. Oh gosh. Okay.
And I was so shocked because I remembered attending their events back in
Yeah.
2012.
Wow.
And they've been around for so long, and you would think that the government would step in as it's kind of one
Yeah.
of the hearts of the ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, that's really sad to hear. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
but
that's the
I
thing.
think
Like, I think there's very little support on startups in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm actually looking at either moving to the Netherlands or Singapore because of
Let me
just like
know.
I'll probably cut this bit out, but it's just yeah, it's just like really lacking, and I feel for the founders who have already established in Australia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, I bet there's a few more going to Singapore as well.
Yes.
Got it, got it. And what would you say, Serena, is being a founder now, and you probably get outreach quite a lot. What is the
Mm.
common what is the common questions asked by, I think, young founders from you?
I don't think a lot of young founders are outreach to me, actually. I think more it's to test their product. I think that's probably the main one. But are you like in terms of advice or like I think okay, actually, so advice would be the number one thing is like, what should I do? Which is such a broad question. But I always say just get started. Uh, the world makes it so much easier to build. You can vibe code anything now. You are literally the only person that's limiting yourself. So yeah, just it's not expensive to create a lovable. It's not expensive to have a Claude Code subscription. So yeah, I just get started, play around with it, build your thing, and then launch it.
Build the thing, just do it, don't overthink
Yep.
it. And you're right, we
Yep.
have so many tools in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that we're hoping to solve at Fuzzy is to have less tools. And so that's one of the things that we think about is how do we make it easier for our user, have, remove all these different tools so they can just focus on the one. Our AI agent helps you do the whole stack from the complete top of funnel.
I am so excited to get my hands on this because I was
Yes, I'm
literally just
excited.
thinking about, I'm like, okay, so back in the days, I was using LinkedIn Sales Nav, Outreach, SendBloom.
Mm,
But now there's Apollo, Lucia, Clay. I'm not sure what else. Zoom Info is obviously there, but very expensive. Yeah, very expensive subscription. So yeah, really excited to have a play with this. And it's an AI agent as well, you said.
correct. Correct. An AI agent that plugs into other AI agents. It helps you research, build lists, build campaigns, build your content, depending on what you need done. And it connects to a bunch of different agents that helps you build out your entire workflow.
That's amazing. I feel like my mind will be blown once like I have a play
I'm
with it.
excited. Yeah.
Is it is it live globally?
Yes. Yep. Live globally. So you can just sign up on our website and good to go. I can send you a link.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, definitely. And I'll share it with the audience as well. So for the
Amazing.
B2B founders, and do you have B2C founders as well, or is this more perfect for
No, pure
B2B?
B2B. Yep. For B2B founders. So
There
founders who
you
are
go.
focusing on LinkedIn, email, that's the channels that we primarily focus on.
Absolutely perfect. So B2B founders or B2B hiring managers. I
Yep.
know a lot of my
Yeah.
audience is predominantly female working in tech, so have a play. Um, and I would love to know as well, Serena, you probably have heard of a lot of advice for women,
Mm.
whether it's like advice for founders, female founders, or as uh, women in young corporate career. But if you meet someone who is 20 years old and they ask you what career advice would you give them?
Embarrass yourself more. I think everyone's always, I think I've said this a few times, even for myself, and I'm working on it too. I think, especially in Australia, the tall poppy syndrome is real. I think everyone's always worried about what people think, what you post online, but I think you learn the most when you are out there. And if I look back at the last 50 years, the people who are most successful in a branding point of view in my network are the people who posted like things that they didn't really care what people thought about and just really hustled. And so don't overthink it. Just embarrass yourself more, put yourself out there. And then the second thing would be just build it and just do it. Don't overthink it. I think most people spend more time overthinking it than doing it themselves.
I'm guilty, very guilty.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not uncommon. Do not worry. It's not uncommon.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, is this showing up online? Your main channel is LinkedIn, correct?
Correct.
And how long do you overthink things before posting, or do you not overthink now?
I mean, I still do it sometimes. But then like 6 hours overthink. I just try to get it done in the day because otherwise I'll forget. I used to take like months. Now I'm just like, no, I let it happen. Yeah, I know it's so bad because I would overthink like, what if someone thought this about me? Now I just don't care. And I realize, what you realize is like people don't care anyway. And if anything, they're happy for you. And if people who do care, it's kind of like, well, doesn't really like, do you want them in your network anyway? So, you should surround yourself with people who are supportive, and people who are supportive will be supporting you. So just do it. And it's okay to embarrass yourself. It's okay if, there are a bit less likes than normal. It's okay. I find that my best customers are the people who've never liked or engaged in any single one of my posts. Yeah, so just do it because you don't know who else will show up.
I agree. Yes to this so much. I think you, I personally still get it where I'm concerned about the vanity metrics, but I recently held an event. It was a paid event, and I've seen people who have not, they've purchased, but they have not liked any post whatsoever,
Yeah,
no
exactly.
comments whatsoever. They've told their friends, they brought their friends, and I'm just like, oh, it works.
Yeah, exactly. Like some people are like, oh, I've only got 5 likes. I'm like, don't look at the numbers. Like that does not matter. Like look at who actually, what sales you're getting off the back of it. That's the most important.
Do you schedule content like way in advance, or do you just post every day?
It depends. Sometimes I just have a thought and then I post it. Sometimes I schedule it. So I do a mix of both.
Okay. I'll definitely schedule after our call right now because that's something that I have like put way in the back burner, and this is such an
Do it.
inspiration to just do it,
Yes.
get it
Just
done,
do it. Yep.
and
Don't
you just
overthink it.
don't know what opportunity comes out.
Exactly. Just do it. And if anything, if it doesn't go well, you can just repost it. Oh, something that might be interesting. I've posted the exact same thing at 2 different times, and one of them had 3 times more likes than the other one. So, like, you know what I mean? You could post the exact same thing, but it just happens to be the time of the day, and you might get way more engagement in one than the other. So, yeah, don't overthink it. Just do it. If it doesn't work, you can post it again another time, and you might get completely different results.
Well, this is an inspiration. So that's your tip for 20-year-olds is embarrass yourself more, get out there more often, do it, just take
Yep.
advantage of the
Don't.
time that you have.
Exactly. Just do it.
And obviously, Serena, we've had the experience with digital transformation, cloud, and now there's AI. A lot of graduates are worried about what the future looks like. Um, Based on what you've seen, what do you think AI will bring, and where should they position themselves as workers and employees, or when they're just starting their careers?
One of the things that AI won't replace is creativity and strategic thinking. I would encourage every single graduate to start creating stuff and think creatively and differently. One of the things that, when I hear in interviews, like, oh, I've just used AI to do it. I think that's good, but then you tell me your thought process. If someone says, I just use this skill, but I'm like, okay, what did you change? If they can't, actually, do you know what skills are before I go into the,
Yeah,
yeah. So
and
people use
Claude,
these
right?
skills. Claude, so all of them have them now, and they'll say, "Oh, I have this skill," which essentially means an instruction manual. If if they don't tell me that they've edited it or changed it or thought about what works and what doesn't work, it actually shows the ability of someone's problem thinking skills. And so I would actually encourage all the graduates to like, okay, yes, use Claude and use skills, but then how are you doing it differently? And I think that's what the difference will be, because it's so easy to plug in any skill, but being able to differentiate and problem solve through the issues, I think is completely one of the skills that will make you differentiate amongst everyone else. And it's like, okay, I'm going to put the controversial thing out there that people will hate. Like, people should be scared of their jobs. Things are going to change, but the people that will stay are the people who are testing the technologies now, that are playing around with it, they're actually using it differently. And they're actually putting themselves out there to use the different tools. And so the most valuable people will be the people who know how to use all the different tools, understand what works and what doesn't, versus the people that have never even touched it before and be like, oh, I just used GPT or something like, or I just use that to summarize an email, which is like the worst way to use AI. Try to get yourself to level 4, if not level 5, and that will make you indispensable. And so, yeah, I think it's so important to use AI nowadays. And it's going to be something that everyone needs to think about. The other tip that I would also give graduates or younger people is, I think it was so interesting. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day where they were saying before in COVID, everyone was wanting their work from home benefits and they're wanting to not put in as much compared to before. But now it's going 360 where AI is taking a lot of their jobs. And a lot of people haven't had jobs for about, 6, 18, 12 months. And so 12, 18 months. And so if you are a student that hasn't had a job, like, can you volunteer your time? Can you get the experience? And even if you have, a bit of experience, if that experience gets you an opportunity to like even a job there or the next job, I would take it. Don't be too picky. Try just to learn from anyone you can, because if you can take that experience, that will make you way better than a person who just has not, waiting for money, so to speak, and just not worked for like 6 months. So take every opportunity you can, build things, create things. Yeah.
That is golden, and I can't believe that people are being choosy as well, especially if you're a grad. I feel like when I was a grad, I'm just like, any job will
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Have your
exactly.
foot in the door.
Exactly. And I think we're seeing it. I think 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, people were super choosy and now they can't be. I'm hearing Stanford grads that are been unemployed for 6 months. Like, I'm hearing it from straight from the valley. So it's definitely a thing. And so there's a joke where they're like, oh, they're going to apply they're going to apply for an accelerator instead before they find a job because they can't find a job, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get the joke. um, I actually worry for universities as well, because
Mm,
I don't I applied for like a university a master's program earlier this year, and I just thought, how relevant is this going to be?
yeah. I'll be
Am I
honest. I
just
don't think it
going?
would be. I don't think it'll be,
No.
if I'm honest. By the time they
The
learn it and they get the content, that's already 2 or 3 generations behind. Things are moving at every few days. It's not even like a week now. And so by the time someone puts it into a syllabus, that's 6 months behind. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm a bit maybe because I'm
It's
dealing with
okay.
all this every day.
I already dropped out.
Okay, good,
But
good.
basically it was like the first subject, and I thought it's one of like the top universities in Australia. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be groundbreaking. I just want to learn. And I get there, and it's basically poor user experience. There's no interaction. The students were, I don't know why they even were there, because they weren't interacting
Mm,
with each
mm,
other.
mm.
The curriculum was really old school, and I
Yeah,
knew that
see.
whatever it was asking me, I could plug into Perplexity or Claude and get the answer faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I looked at the ROI, potentially what this could lead me, and it was just not there.
Yeah, exactly. Good. I think you made the right decision. You're saving your time and money.
And I was just thinking, I'm so glad that I had uni like years and years ago. That was amazing. And it was like on campus. The people were, I think, like socially they could deal with each other. And like just the learnings. But I question what university will look like down the track and how people
Mm.
will continue to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if university will be as relevant in a few years. Let's see.
I heard that some universities are actually putting their MBA on discounts because there's not as much uptake as what it has.
Interesting. I think I think one thing MBA does do though, it's a really great networking opportunities because you've got really intelligent people who've done because a lot of MBAs, you need to have minimum years of experience and you need to get into the program. So I do think from a networking perspective, it's great. But other than that, like from a knowledge point of view, like, yeah, like you said, you can just plug into Claude. Claude can teach you. You probably have an accelerator course as well, and it's delivered in your learning style as opposed to like a book that you might not read. And so, yeah, being able to learn through Claude GPT, Google LM, Google Notebook LM is way better than what you would have going to school, I think, anyway.
I actually think that another hack is going to an accelerator.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah, actually, no, that's a really good point. So I think, again, I would preface this with the right accelerator because I don't think all accelerators are equal. Going to an accelerator, having the right people teach you things, definitely. You don't have to make the wrong mistakes and waste years of time.
I'm interested to hear which are like your top tier accelerators.
I'll just talk about iterative because I guess I was in that one. Because they're all run by ex-founders, so I think they've done quite a great job, and it's because they've gone through the pain and the suffering. It sounds really weird, but you almost need to suffer a little bit as a founder because you know what to do in times of crisis, and they've all gone through it before, and they know how much it can work out amazingly, but also how much it can suck. And so, giving that different perspectives of feedback and how you can get to that step is so important because you'll save so much time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having that support from
Mm.
someone who have gone through the journey, have embarrassed themselves, have had those nights where like the product's just for some reason not working, cash flow issues, like they know the thing, tax issues.
Mm.
Yeah.
100%,
And
100%.
I wanted I wanted to ask, there's because I thought that that was really cool when I went into the accelerator was I sat there and looking at the people who introduced themselves and I was like thinking, why am I here? They're also accomplished. And they were basically like C-level executives from their companies, people who have sold their businesses and are currently in their earnout period and just thinking, exploring what to do, people who have existing businesses. And I'm just like, wow, quite intimidating. But again, like a good networking as well.
Yeah. And that's such a, I'll just put out there like a female thing to feel. I feel like guys would never feel that, but yeah, you'll know that, you know, a lot of time people with these big titles, big experience is just luck. And so, you know, if you put in the hours and time, you could be there as well and do the exact same position and title.
This is very true. Thank you for the reminder. Well, you gave us your advice for 20-year-olds in their careers, and I've asked you so many questions. I really enjoyed our chat. I feel like there's so much more. When are you in Sydney next?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe next month. Oh, sorry, August potentially. I'll let you know if I am. I might do a workshop there, but I'll definitely be back in Australia in July. My cousin and brother are getting married. So, yeah, it'll be great.
Amazing. Well, if I can help support you in any way, let me know.
Yeah, thank you.
And excited. And I'll be in Singapore in October.
Oh my God. Okay, let me know. Exciting.
Wherever we are, I'll buy you lunch. And again, thank you so much for being
Thank
in the
you.
podcast today. I really enjoy it. And I think a lot of people will be very inspired.
Thank you. Hopefully it was fun. It was fun chatting to you as well, Sheena.
Thanks, Serena. I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Fiery Femmes. If this resonated, share it with a woman in your life because we rise higher when we rise together. Don't forget to follow and review. It helps more women access the tools and conversations that build wealth and confidence. For more career and financial empowerment, come hang out on Instagram and YouTube at Fiery Femmes. I'll see you in the next episode. RSU, Options, ESPP, ESOP, ISOP. What do they even mean? When I was working in tech, no one could really explain in simple terms what my tax implications were from the equity in my compensation. There were times that I had to explain to the accountants what I mean. It took about 3 tax returns to find an accountant who knew what I was talking about. This is why I created equitytax.ai, an easy to use AI powered app to help you calculate tax payable based on your equity. Try it out today at equitytax.ai.